Welcome back to the Right Read Podcast. As always, I am one of your four distinguished co-hosts, DeAndre. You can find me on Twitter at Willems, WILLLUMZ. Passing it over to my left.
I'm Usad. You can find me on Twitter at UsadNBA.
I am Will. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Bias Houston.
I'm Isaiah. You can find me on Twitter at user G Supremacy.
Yeah.
Today's an interesting episode. I don't think it's any shock to people to find out that we are four Rockets fans. And something that I think we've tried our best to avoid doing is making this just a Rockets podcast where we just talk Rockets basketball day. We do that enough on our free time and on Twitter. But the Rockets have become, I think,
the saxophones are getting way too loud.
It's kind of the hot topic of the NBA right now. We've had these conversations privately as friends, and I think it's time we have some of these convos on the podcast. And this will be the first, I guess, all Rockets episode. I think you coined it so well in the chat.
I don't say the title of this episode, I think, is going to be aptly named Houston, We Have a Problem. I think
probably needs.
I think we have too many national media games for us to not address what we've been putting up.
So we are recording this on Tuesday. We have one tomorrow.
We play tonight. Nuggets.
And it's the second half of another back-to-back.
We play the Nuggets
TV game.
Yes, we play the Nuggets in Denver on ESPN. Second out of a back-to-back. So
at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock.
It's going to be one of those games where when we lose, I'm going to be mad at 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I think it's going to be another humiliation.
I got class on Thursday too. God,
yeah. But yeah. So state of the Rockets here. I guess set the scene. I think our season has been derailed due to injury.
Why does it sound like a funeral?
Hey, it really is.
It is like I think our season has been derailed due to injury. I think that is not the only reason it's been derailed, but I do think that is a significant reason. I think, and this is conjecture, right? But I think the organization, which has been planning for long-term success and sustained success, viewed this 2-year window as a possible contention window because of what we had figured out down the stretch of last season with the double big lineups and Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams essentially possession maxing our way into being a top 10 offense and a top 5 defense, right? I think what we figured out was if Fred's holding the ball and is not turning it over and we're just out rebounding teams by a million every single night. Yep. If we add a uber efficient scorer, one of the all-time great scorers, Kevin Durant,
last year,
right? That's kind of the one thing we were missing last year. We didn't have someone that could just go get a bucket whenever we wanted. Yep. If we add that and maintain those two elements, we could fake contend, right? Yep. And I think before the season started, Fred VanVleet went out, and so already that gap at not just turnover suppression, but that gap at just having a competent ball handler constantly on the court.
I'm saying, then shooting, we lost probably the only guy not named Reed Shepherd who was a sophomore player, but really in his first every year getting minutes who would pull up threes.
Yep.
Like we don't have that.
Yep. I said Dylan Brooks would put up a bunch of 3-point volume. Jalen Green would put up a lot of 3-point volume. And even though those guys, Dylan Brooks actually was really, really good at making them. Jalen Green wasn't the best at making them, but that was 3-point volume we lost. Fred VanVleet, another guy who was shooting a bunch of threes, he's also gone at this point, right? So you're going into the season with a shooting deficit. You're going in with a ball handling deficit. Right? So now your turnovers are already going to go up. But hey, you still have Steven Adams.
You still have Steve-O. You still got double bigs. Yeah. You brought in Clint Capella. At the time, brought in DFS.
So you thought
that when he eventually came back, he would add not pull-up shooting, but just floor spacing in general. Yep. And as the season progressed, it kind of was working.
Yeah, for the record, while Steven Adams was healthy, like we were...
There was a time, whether people want to believe it or not by turning our film on, we were the number one offense in basketball.
Yep.
We had, I want to say it was the first 22-ish games of the season around that mark. We were like number one offense in basketball. Was our defense, funny enough, that had been lagging behind. I want to say we were like 8th or 9th in defensive net rating.
Still, it was like a top 3 net rating team, top 10 defense, top 1 offense at one point. And right?
Twitter was saying the same thing it was saying after our last national TV game of how the hell does this team have a top 5 net rating and top 5 offense? And we were trying to explain to people in its conversations we've had over and over again about how this team is playing like ugly spreadsheet basketball. It's just possession maxing to the utmost. Genuine possession maxing per se.
Yeah,
like it was ridiculous what they were trying to do. And Steven Adams gets hurt. And
our season post Steven Adams injury, I don't know if we have the numbers on it. It has been night and day. I think off the top of my head, I think we've gone 14-12 post Steven Adams injury. We are way lower in net rating. Our offensive rebounding rate has plummeted by almost 8% from what it was. And it's just like this is a different team now. This is a team. Shout out at apathetic at Frank on Twitter. He said the Rockets right now are a man without a country. Our whole identity was based on possession maxing, offensive rebounding. The two most important players for that are gone.
Yep.
Now we just don't know what to do.
I think the other thing that's kind of missing that we talked about this, I think, on the podcast. I'm not sure if it was before the trade, because I think we started this podcast right around the time of the trade happened. But I know we talked about this before, which is people did not. Dillon Brooks did not have the best defensive season per his standards for his last season in Houston, but I don't think people understood how important he was to our defensive identity and like how much he was the quarterback of that defense that we thought was really electric last season. And you lost that guy. And I think one of the reasons why I was like, I'd rather trade some other people and, keep Dillon around, one, because I recognized what he brought to this team in terms of that defensive identity, that defensive grit and edge that he brought. But also, talked about the pull-up shooting, right? He was a 40% shooter last year, right? He was, for better or worse. I made this argument a couple of times. In terms of our perimeter offense, I think he was our best perimeter offensive player last year. At least in terms of consistency. He didn't peak as high as what Fred or Jalen did, but I knew night in and night out he was going to give me an efficient 15. Yep. Right? It was going to be an efficient 15 on the perimeter every single night. There was a point in time where I hated those Kobe Bryant fadeaways, and they just kept falling. I was like, you know what, Dillon, power to you. And so we lost all of that, and we were hoping that Dorian Finney-Smith, he wasn't going to provide the same level of shot making that Dillon did, right? That was not his game. But we were hoping that he would provide some of that similar defensive edge and like intensity, and like he would kind of take over
along
that
with shooting.
I was going to bring that up, and then I'll say he was also a guy who shot 40% from three last year. So we were hoping that we wouldn't lose. We were going to lose the shot like creation, but we weren't going to lose the ability to shoot threes and then that defensive edge. And then to go along with Fred VanVleet going down before the season even started, and Steven Adams going down at like the halfway point of the season, DFS didn't join us until December. No. And then it was a moment of like, all right, he's just kind of rusty. He's going to like, work his way back. And then here we are in March, and he's unplayable. Let's just he's unplayable, man.
He's DFS.
Yeah, and it's just being honest. Like, we have $40 million in dead cap with Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet. That's $25 million plus another $15 million. And respectfully, we have another $15 million in DFS.
Another what? 13?
Yeah, another $13 million in dead cap. So
14,
you're looking at like $53 million in dead cap right there, and then that. And my problem is that is all setting the scene for then like actual problems with the roster, which is our young guys have underperformed.
Yep.
There's no other way to find it.
I think that's the real issue at hand is we've seen these conversations and we've had these conversations on the podcast about other teams' young cores, other teams' flawed stars. And, it gets kind of different when the call is coming from inside the house. And I'm looking around like, all right, Sengun, when are you going to start making layups and not be the worst post-hook shooter in basketball and play better defense again? When are you going to start doing that this year?
The defense is so annoying because I swear to God, people aren't going to believe me.
Yes,
he was really good last year.
He was a good defender last year, bro. I swear this wasn't what he was.
He was an excellent defender last year.
He was really good last year.
You know what really sucks is like your defensive reputation lags a year behind what you do on the court, right? And last year, Sengun didn't have a good defensive rep and was playing good defense.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? He's going to do it again this year, and he's finally going to get the reputation.
He's going to get a good rep at least.
He's going to get a good rep. And then he came out, and he's playing dog shit on defense. And it's like, now last year basically didn't exist for people. People didn't recognize he was good last year, and now he's not good. So it's like, there's no point of bringing it up.
I think all of the things that we did well last season in the possession maxing with Fred VanVleet, offensive rebounds with Steven Adams, and like I said, the defensive intensity of Dillon Brooks, like losing all of those things, I think one, like you're not going to have the same season, but I think it also accentuates the fact that this roster is incredibly flawed. Like you take away the things that we did well that kind of masked the stink of our team last year, because let's keep it a bean. Like our offense was nasty last year. It was bad last year, and like the process always wasn't the greatest. We struggled with spacing, we struggled with attacking closeouts, different stuff like that. But we were able to mask it because we had Fred, Steve-O, Dillon. We were able to kind of cover it up. You can't cover it this year, and now you're left with what we have, which is, in my opinion, the biggest issue with this team. We have a roster full of I'll be polite here, low IQ individuals who cannot shoot or cannot dribble. Right? Like I do this exercise quite often. I guess we should do it on the podcast now. Let's go one at a time, actually. Start with Dre. I need you to name me everybody on this team you believe can shoot a basketball, like shoot a three, open three. You trust them to make that shot.
Tari Eason, Reed Shepherd, Kevin Durant, Jabari half the time. Am I missing anyone?
Aaron Holiday.
You named I would have named.
Aaron.
I don't know.
Do you have any changes to that list?
Consistently,
I'm trusting you.
So okay,
night in, night out.
Tari's been a story of 2 seasons because his first season he was quite literally leading the NBA in 3-point percentage, and then for the last like 10-15 games he hasn't been able to throw a ball into the ocean. Yeah. So it's like I think he's like 20% from 3. It's like something absolutely atrocious, right? So like I don't know what to make of Tari, right? And then Jabari is Jabari's also been up and down. Like he had like a really bad stretch in January. He had a really good stretch before the All-Star break. Then like he's also been up and down. So I think if you're asking me consistently rely on hitting a 3, I don't think I can name either of the Aries.
Tari is 17%, 18% from 3 in his last 10 games.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I can't. Yeah. So as of right now, I think.
I mean that's so bad. It's
outlier. Yeah.
But I would say I could also argue the 46% for 3 he was shooting early in the season.
Usually the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think right now, even though Reed did have a nasty slump at one point, I will give him grace, and I will say Reed. I think I trust to knock down an open 3. Kevin Durant, obviously, I trust to knock down an open 3.
To me, it's less about the 3-point shooting. We oftentimes talk about spacing in basketball, and it is so funny that like we play Marvel Rivals. Y'all play more than me, but like I think that something that rings true is like you need DPSs, dribble, pass, shoot. You need those guys in the NBA. Like you really, really need them, and it's such a luxury to have shooters. But I've seen specialists die in the playoffs, so you don't want guys that just go out, shoot shots, and like all respect to the Joe Harrises, to the Duncan Robinsons of the world, to the Luke Kennards, but I know how to scheme against those guys in the playoffs. Run them off the line, make them make a decision. DFS was kind of supposed to be like a middle ground between that. He's not some all-world creator, and you've seen it in spurts at times this year, but like he knows how to attack a closeout. He's been in the league long enough and knows how to make certain decisions, and he's supposed to be able to shoot.
That's the problem.
We just got a team full of dudes that can do like one of the 3.
I was going to say,
or like 1.5 of the 3.
Y'all, did you want to add anybody to the shooting list? I think it's just KD and Reed.
I think the only people who are respected as shooters are Reed and KD.
I'll say not even.
Oh, that's a different question. Respected as shooters.
No, I'm talking about do I just trust you? If you
I would trust those.
Do I trust you to make a shot? I don't trust Jabari or Tari. I don't. The only people I trust when they shoot it, I think it's just KD and Reed. So I don't know if you want to add anybody to that list.
I mean, no, it's probably.
I don't trust you.
Especially if we're talking about like above the break, because I think in the corner, I think corner threes are kind of a thing where a lot of people can shoot them, so it's not especially if they're wide open.
Yeah,
like, that's why you see so many like fake 40% seasons because you
get
a bunch of open threes in the corner, you shoot 3 or 4 a game, you'll luck it into 40. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure Kogi is still like 39%.
He is,
and that's why because he's not shooting a whole lot.
He doesn't shoot
a
bunch of them,
but when he shoots,
that's the other issue with the team is we have a bunch of guys who shoot threes.
Yeah, we have,
but we have a bunch of low volume guys. But all right, my next question is: so we did the list of threes. Now, to Dre's point, take a closeout, make a play for themselves or somebody else. Who do you trust in the team to do that?
Attack a closeout or because those are 2 different questions.
Yeah.
I mean, both. Like, can you attack a closeout and make the decision for yourself or for someone else?
On a night-to-night basis?
Yes. I trust you consistently.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so real.
On a night-to-night basis, nobody
if we want to get down to the nitty-gritty with this team, right? Alperen Sengun, and for the people that talk about us the way they do in terms of our basketball knowledge, I have sat down in a call with these people and watched every single self-creation play for Alperen Sengun this year. Yeah. Like I've sat down for hours and just watched this team play basketball. Alperen Sengun is a low post hub, if you want to call him that at this point, who plays a somewhat methodical, sloppy style of basketball. And when he's not making shots, it doesn't look good. Amen Thompson can't dribble. Love him to death. He can't dribble. He's not any type of a floor spacer at all. Kevin Durant is 37. He has no burst anymore, and he's not a great decision maker.
KD, that's the thing. KD, I think, in terms of attacking a closeout, one of the best attacking closeouts I've ever seen in NBA history. Decision maker? No.
I mean,
Respectfully to KD.
I think relative to role, he can do it.
He doesn't really have to make this.
No. I can't even say that because the role that he's now playing in the Houston Rockets offense is not attacking closeout.
Yeah, that's my. I think he's playing like pseudo point guard for us when he shouldn't be.
I think that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, I think if you had more guys on this team who could actually initiate.
He's our
closeouts. I don't think he would be asked to do as much as he does.
I mean, on a night-to-night basis, he's your second best ball handler.
I ain't gonna lie, gang. He might be the best.
I mean, like Reed, him, and I'm gonna be so real. Like Sengun.
I was gonna say, it's a
man.
conversation between Reed and KD, and the reason why I would maybe lean towards KD more is because Reed is still young and still growing. Like we're gonna have to live with him kind of.
I don't know, man. I get scared. I get scared when KD gets blitzed off a ball screen, dog. I get real scared. Like I don't trust him to make P&R decisions. I don't trust him to. I'm gonna be so real, and I'm gonna throw the floor to Zay after I say this. The way he is hijacked possessions. Shout out to Kai's theory, actually. Shout out to Kai's theory, man. But Zay, you have harped on this long, so I want you to have the floor with Kevin Durant and his role in this offense this year.
I mean, yeah, I think one with the PNR stuff, I think when we talk about we're gonna get into like our turnover percentage numbers and all that stuff. But when you look at all of the guys who have uses on this team, he has the highest turnover percentage in pick and roll possessions. And that's including that's including Sengun, that's including Reed. And I think that is a fulcrum of him being out of role. We've known historically he's not very good with dealing with double teams, and I think as his age has advanced, his handle has gotten worse, and his turnover percentages went even higher up than what it has been in his prime. And so I think that in itself we're playing him out of role. I think when you look at his play type numbers and you look at how much lower his turnover percentages comparatively when he's playing out of spot ups and playing in isolation and like these play types where it is only one guy and you're kind of just catching it and doing something as opposed to trying to set something up, it's way lower. I think in terms of hijacking possessions, I think that is I think we fundamentally have a schematic issue as a team, and that is, I think it's two-part. One part, just the way that we play basketball does not maximize the players on this team that are actually good, and then the second part is the role players that we have are not built to play the style of basketball that does maximize our players. Which I mean, we'll also get into that one, but I'll just touch on the first part. Spending as much time as we do per possession trying to facilitate some form of an isolation is objectively bad basketball.
It's bad.
And I think it's accentuated even more because when you look at our numbers and like in the shot clock situations and like even like points per like front court touch, we're top 10 in both. The reason why it doesn't matter is because that is just not efficient. The best team in the league in short shot clock situations, which this is just last 4 seconds, which is also classified as a grenade, is the Cavs, and they average 0.92 points per possession. That's not good offense. We're number 10 at like 0.88, but it's 0.88. Mind you, KD himself is averaging like 1.08 points in these situations, but it doesn't matter because 17% of our half court possessions end in grenades, and it's because of how slow we play. And part of that is self-inflicted by KD and sometimes Sengun, how slow they play.
I would blame both of them for that one.
Part of that is just systematically, I think we're playing like we have a heliocentric player in terms of all of the pace numbers, all of the time per possession stuff, all of the like low assist percentage stuff, and we don't.
Yep.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, I think
my team probably should be playing helio.
My problem is a little less with like our pace because I think, well, me and you have the same definition of pace, so I think we won't be misaligned on that. But it's less to do with how we hunt our spots and how we hunt isolations. Because every team at the end of the day does that. Like the Celtics are dead. Yeah, like Celtics are dead last in pace. I've said like watch a Celtics game. They play accidental basketball a lot. It works because their system is designed to generate really good looks out of it. But yeah, like they win the math game all the time. The problem I have is we don't have a system that dominates any type of quote unquote math game whatsoever. Like we have lost the ability, and I get it. Like coming into the season, and it's the reason we gave a lay of the land out what happened with this team. The math game we were going to play was we're just going to get more field goal attempts than you, more possessions, offensive rebounds, more second chances. That's what's going to happen. We're going to second chance you to death. Once you lose that, you have to be able to look at the talent you have as a team and try and adapt. We've gone through all the film. We've gone through all of the numbers, anything in any way you could look at this team. The problem that I've had is trying to figure out, is this a coaching thing? Is this a personnel thing? Like, what exactly is the problem that's leading us to running the same offense over and over? Because
when you look at our play type numbers, like, gang, our individual, like, so isolation, our efficiency is a little bit lower, but when you really break down individually, Sengun's plus in isolation efficiency, KD's plus in isolation efficiency, Amin Thompson is plus in isolation efficiency. Amin and KD are both 75th percentile. When you look at pick and roll efficiency just on like creation possessions only, like only just shooting possessions, KD is plus efficiency. Amin is 58th percentile. Reed is like 78th percentile. So that marks like your creators are doing a pretty decent job, objectively above average job at scoring out of these play types. And then when you look at our volume, we're like top 3 in ISO volume. And then I think we're like middle of the pack in pick and roll volume, including scoring. Where you lose it is, gang, when you, first of all, when you look at including passing, our efficiency goes down, which that's because spot ups.
Yeah.
And then when you look at our spot up efficiency, it's not good.
Yeah.
And that is a role player. That one is we're not playing our best guys in roll, because KD should be getting more spot up possessions than he does, and you should be supplementing some of these pick and rolls into transition spot up ISOs, right? And then I mean, our role players at the end of the day, they either pump fake ghost one, some of them cannot shoot, period, and then they just can't attack a closeout. Like, I cannot. When at the end of the day, when one of my 4 creators creates an advantage, because as nasty as it appears on a game-to-game basis, objectively speaking, all 4 of them in some shape or form are a positive creator. There are play types they are positive in. When they create out of one of those positive play types, we're just not equipped to do anything with it right now. And that's because of who we have as our role players.
I think that's why, for me, I think that there are things that Ime Udoka has done that has left food on the table for us times this season. Like, for one, not playing Reed more, and at this point just starting him, right? I think we're all in alignment on that he should just be starting at this point and like actually playing point guard.
I think that is the lowest hanging fruit.
Yes, and I think
for a lot of reasons.
I think the fact that we haven't done that is pretty concerning. But so I think something as simple as that is a huge, reason for why we haven't seen as much success as we want to. There's also a couple games where we did not see an adjustment that should have been made. I think the Spurs game was probably not the most recent one, but the one, I guess it was the one before the second most recent one, where they put Wemby on him in, and we just did nothing about it. I think that was pretty like glaring that there was no adjustment or counter adjustment at all from Ime Udoka to that. That being said, I look at what we're asking him to cook with, right? It's a bunch of dead cap and a bunch of players who I don't think fit one another at all. I think Ceze's point, we had and I hate to just point fingers, but if Sengun creates an advantage and it's Tariq having to take a closeout, I get scared every time he puts the ball on the floor. Like, he's going to do something pretty bad with it. Or like Jabari Smith Jr., we can feel like we want to feel about him. He fluctuates from can't miss to can't make anything. Like, I mean, there was a game where he went 0 for 10 this season from 3, which is ridiculous, on open threes. And like, I'm going to be real, that should just never happen. And like, these are the guys we're asking to assist. Dorian Finney-Smith, who, like I said, he's not dead cap in the sense of he's hurt. He's dead cap in the sense of he's unplayable. I don't think he does too much of anything positive for us.
Yeah, I don't think he does anything well on the basketball.
And so, like,
right now,
if I can, and I can keep going on the list of things that's just wrong with this roster. I can't then look at Ime Udoka and say, I think that it's entirely your fault, when I'm asking him to cook with no ingredients.
That's when it's nothing to cook with. And we've talked about Ime before at length. And the part I walk away baffled about is I can turn on a couple of our games and we are running, like, we're running split action. Like, I'm gonna say we've sat down in Synergy and watched some of the stuff, and we've had these conversations with other people, and it's like, gang, I can't say like, oh, what is Ime doing? I can point and say, gang, that's Horn's chest flare. This is designed to get this guy right here, and then they run the play, and it's
a lot of double drag for Reed.
Run a ton of double drag stuff, a lot of Horn stuff, a lot of stack P&Rs lately with Reed. Like, they try and do some stuff. What I notice at least is in the middle of the horns PNR. KD looks at his matchup and just says, I got this.
Yep.
Or Sengun will look and say, no, you go that way. And I get it. That's the ebbs and flows of basketball. I'm not trying to, program robots out here. Like, you have to be an expressive basketball player to keep defenses on their toes and to make sure that, one, you just good enough isolation score in terms of Sengun and KD, and you have to be able to attack and create out of these matchups. But, man, like I have seen Ime call some plays, and I think sideline out of bounds plays, baseline out of bounds plays, ATOs, those are real indicators of, can you draw something up? Man, he may be drawing some stuff up. It's where, like, I don't think he's he's not a dumb basketball coach. I see a lot of people on the timeline saying, like, Ime's an idiot, Ime's this. Like, I've seen this dude scheme some stuff up. Yeah, I'm not saying he's perfect by any means, but I don't think he's... people say it on the time. I think he is far from our biggest issue, and I genuinely believe he is far from our biggest.
I think problem. The biggest issue with Ime is he's stubborn. I think.
Yes, I 100% agree on that.
It'll take him a while to change something. I think he kind of wants to do it his way, off rips, and then it's like, all right, now I have no choice. But
I'm kind of glad my head coach is stubborn, though. If my head coach was changing with the wins, I'd be kind of upset.
And I think the other thing too, just to kind of pass it off on the Ime conversation. Like I said, I'm not saying he's done a perfect job at all. I'm not saying that in any capacity. But one, he's obviously not going to lose his job. Like I think that there are.
Yeah, there's no shot.
I think fans should go look at what coaches are available or what coaches tend to become available. You're not. It's very not likely you get a better coach than what Ime Udoka is. That's a pretty high bar to try to upgrade from. And then the next thing I wanted to say was. Dang, I forgot. What was I going to say?
I want to build off that real quick, though, because we said this before we left Discord and started recording the pod. I don't want to fire an Ime and just hire Ime. Because you look at the rest of the league and the landscape of coaches that are available. Who are the two best coaches available? Mike Malone and Tom Thibodeau. Like, they're the two, most likely, like, they're probably the two best available candidates right now. Tom Thibodeau is Ime, and Mike Malone is just offensive Ime. Yeah. If you want offensive Ime, sure, I guess. Mike Malone's an NBA champion, hell of a coach.
Yeah, great coach.
Tom Thibodeau, one of the best defensive minds ever, but I understand why the Knicks, when they fired Tibbs, said, no, go bring in Mike Brown. He just runs different stuff. Yeah. He approaches basketball from a different coaching angle. You get rid of Ime, I don't know if we're a team positioned to go take a chance on an assistant. I don't know if we're a team positioned to, like, call the Celtics and be like, hey, Missoula, which one of your assistants is, like, really, really good? And pluck that. I don't know if, like, and the Jazz aren't letting Will Hardy go. A lot of these coaches I love Jordy Fernandez. The Nets ain't letting Jordy go, man.
What I was going to say is I think that every fan base has, like, a 2-year honeymoon happy phase with their coach. Go ask how many fan bases in the league actually like their head coach.
There's very few. Very few.
I know some Heat fans that hate Spurs.
Yes.
And I'm like, bro, please give me a trade. I'll trade coaches right now.
Y'all can feel that I want to feel about this one. I think the Warriors fans that hate Steve Kerr need to get a grip.
They're hilarious.
Get a grip.
They're hilarious,
man.
He has brought you 4 rings. I don't care what talent he had on the roster. If your coach is coached you to 4 championships.
This is a Rockets podcast and our Rockets episode. I have watched the Warriors play basketball this year with 40-year-old Al Horford, Draymond Green, and no disrespect to, like, Guy Santos, DeAnthony Melton. Like,
bro, DeAnthony Melton is hooping for them.
I'm saying, like, no disrespect to these dudes, but, like, some dudes. Like, they traded for KP, and he hasn't played for them at all. Steph's been hurt. Jimmy's out for the season. And whether they're going to win anything or not is a completely different thing. But to me, the mark of a good coach is they are competitive every single night. More times than not, the Golden State Warriors are running a system, and that system is leading to competitive basketball.
And there are I've listened to those Warrior spaces where it be 2,000 people, and it's 2 hours of fire Steve Kerr. He sucks. He's not a good coach. So I think
losing because they're getting out talented.
Yeah, I think nuance is kind of dead.
We can transition to phase 2 of this pod, which is I think we very much established where we are. I think this is abundantly clear.
Well, actually, I want to ask you, before we do that, I want to ask you, where are y'all on Sengun? I think that's the most pressing topic, and then we can go.
Oh, I think that is what, like, I think that is the transition to the next part of the topic. It's like, we're going to do a little bit of mock GM here, right? Where it's like, all right, we've gone on and on for like half an hour about all the
jerseys are still up.
Right? Yeah, we've gone on and on about all the problems on the roster, right? Now, what would you do if you're a GM? And I think that starts with your evaluation of the young talent on the team. Where are you on Sengun? Where are you on Ahmed?
I want to know where everybody is.
And so, yeah, we can kick it off from right to left.
Well, we have to go right to left.
Don't start with me.
I was gonna say we can start like.
Is this an ideal world? Can I do it?
Where are you current day on Sengun? Where are you?
You are the Rockets GM.
The first call
entering this offseason. What do you plan on keeping Sengun? Are you the same?
I would wait for the draft lottery, see who has a top 5 pick, and see if any of them are really high on Alperen Sengun. That's the first thing.
So you are in the
okay.
If there is I'm very willing to move on from Alperen Sengun. I don't want to sell him for parts. I don't want to sell him for scraps. I think if you were trading away a guy who, regardless of how you feel about him, is a 2-time All-Star, a guy that's going to get All-NBA votes this year, a hell of a self-creator, somebody that does have a unique talent as an interior passer, and it's a creation hub. The efficiency is why I'm out, but I could sell to a team that, hey, he can get back to what he was at the rim efficiency point of it, while still giving you some of the improvements he has defensively and offensively. This is a hell of a player to start your rebuild with. But yeah, I wouldn't sell him for parts, but if Milwaukee
you
is
are
like
closer to being ready to move on from him than you are to keeping him.
Yeah, like there's nothing he's done in the last year, for me at least, that has signaled he's untouchable. And
I think there's a
that's the safest way to say
untouchable, and then I am because it sounds to me like if a team called you top of pick, he is gone.
If it's the right offer, yeah.
I'm gonna be real. I got 2.
Yeah, if it's, but again, like I would either need some great draft capital, because I think that's what he would be worth, like a ton of really good draft capital, or I need a superstar. Like I'm not trading Sengun for like a quote unquote swap deal or a 1-for-1. Like, no, it needs to be an upgrade. Or if we're going in a different direction as an organization, and I don't believe he should be here in the long term, I better get some insane value pick wise for him. Like, and it better be some immediate pick value, at least for me.
I guess I'll go next. 1 foot and 9 toes out the door on Alperen Sengun. The only thing that's holding, because I'll be honest, he's
gonna drop 33 against Denver. He's gonna drop like
he would. That would be the most Sengun.
I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't move me if he did at this point.
My thing is, what I spent all of last season defending Sengun because he was playing great defense. The impact numbers were off the charts. When he was on the floor, we were winning games, and it doesn't matter how ugly his missed layups looked. It was abundantly clear to the eye test, the analytics, and the soul that like this guy is good at basketball, right? Since his ankle injury in November, it has not. I have not. December it was. I think it was November. He came back December. Whatever. This is ankle injury in winter, right? I have not felt that way watching Alperen Sengun play basketball in 2026. And I defended his efficiency all of last season because he was so impactful. And I said he's been efficient the rest of his career, right? He's going to bounce back to that. He hasn't bounced back. A. B. There's things that he's doing that just for long-term indication are like glaring red flags. 1, free throw shooting. That's not on the roster. That's not on the coaching. That's on nobody, gang. You are in year 5 shooting sub 70%.
Like he's gotten worse as a free throw shooter.
Like he has yet to shoot over 70% from the free throw line in a single NBA season. That is just like, at a certain point, that's what you are. Yep. And I'll be honest, gang, if you're a sub 70% free throw shooter and you're not that good from the field and you can't shoot threes, you don't space the floor, your path to efficiency is tough. Like, that's like, you'd have to be Giannis level at the rim to be an efficient basketball player. Like, Giannis is a sub 70% free throw shooter. And like, those guys are efficient because they're just either I'm talking about self-creators, obviously, right? There's a lot of like lob threats and things like that are efficient because they're just catching a bunch of play finishing passes. Yeah. But like, I'm talking about actual creators. Creators that can't shoot free throws are only efficient at the rim if they're like Shaq or Giannis. Like, that's just the truth of the matter, right? And I don't know what. Tell you what, 1 foot and 9 toes. Like, he has the rest of the season and the playoffs to show me something different. Because as of right now, he is too flawed for me to say untouchable. I would trade him for a top 5 pick, like Dre said. Parts is strong, but
yeah, like I just wouldn't sell him for parts.
If you told me I could get 2 good role players from him, and I'm trading other money for a star, I consider it.
I'm not there yet, because I think he's shown me a lot. Now, I will to Usit's point. it was at this point now 2 years ago was the last time I saw Sengun look efficient. Because I similar to us, I thought that last year when he was inefficient was more outlier than who he actually was, and obviously like to us at this point, he was still impactful despite the inefficiencies, right? We are now 2 seasons now where he has been inefficient, and unlike the year before that, the impact metrics do not paint the picture that he is this ultra impactful player that he was for us in times past. And I think we're kind of seeing, especially like since that injury, there have been a couple of times this season where I've said Clint Capella's outplayed him.
More than a couple times. And the numbers back that up.
It's been a handful of times where I've said it. We've been better with just a big who just rebounds and blocks shots. And that's a problem. But it's crazy because pre-injury, he looked like a guy who was going to be all NBA like second team. Like he was just moving different. And I think that guy is still there somewhere. I'm not really sure what is going on with him. I know a lot of people want to try to blame the roster context in terms of the spacing and the point guard play. And like I do think those are things that would help him be better. I think he needs a two-man partner, right? I think him and Reed can kind of develop that, and that hasn't really been something they've up until I guess recently tried really exploring. And like we talked earlier, the spacing is bad, but that doesn't impact, like you said, the free throw percentage or the posting up at the 3-point line and waiting 30 seconds to make a decision with the basketball. That doesn't include the defensive regression. Because like I said earlier, no one's going to believe us when we say he was really good these last like 2-3 seasons defensively. It's just this year, I don't know what happened. Maybe Dylan Brooks really was just carrying him defensively, or maybe Steven Adams really doing, the devil's work on that end, but he just doesn't look the same defensively. And those are things that he controls himself. So I am concerned. That's where I'm at. I am in the concern camp, and it's no longer, he's just going to bounce back. I'm like, I don't know anymore. But because he showed me too much, I am not ready to just move on from him just yet. That being said, if Giannis came across my table and he was a centerpiece of the trade, I am probably going to say no, but not because I would not trade Sengun for Giannis in a vacuum. I would. The problem is I don't know if after we trade for Giannis, because it's going to be Sengun, probably Jabari, and like 4 or 5 picks, probably to make that work financially. And then Milwaukee's not trading their franchise GOAT for Sengun trade up, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason why I give pause to that is not because I think that that's what Giannis is worth, or would I trade that for Giannis in a vacuum? I would. The problem is once I do that trade, I didn't have enough left over to field a competitive roster? Because, I think people for some reason think Giannis can play center. He cannot. He's not like, we are screwed.
He doesn't fit with anyone we have.
He doesn't play center. So that's number one. So you then have to go find a starting caliber center after you trade for Giannis. And we talked about this a couple times on this podcast. That is rare. I'll say there are not that many good starting calibers. Like Clint Capella, for as good as he's been recently, would not be good if we asked him to play 30 minutes.
Yeah, he can't be a starter.
Steven Adams has been really good. Same thing there. If he was playing 30, 35 minutes a night in the playoffs, he wouldn't be that good. They work well because they come off the bench and play 20 minutes off the bench.
There's a reason why Dallas with Lively and Gafford, it's like, oh, why isn't this guy starting? This guy starting. It's like, no, they're both going to play 24 minutes.
There's a reason for that, right? So finding a starting caliber guy is pretty rare. And then after you get a starting caliber big, you then have to address the spacing problem, which is going to exist with or without Giannis. We have a bunch of guys who defenses do not respect, and for good reason. They don't make them. Mm-hmm. And we all know the way you build a team around Giannis, we don't take him. That's another thing. Jabari took 2 threes last time, which is a problem, dude. That pissed me off so much. But we don't have guys who take and make threes. And so we all know how to build a competitive roster around Giannis. It requires spacing. So you essentially be making an entirely new roster around Giannis, Amin, and KD, which there's some fit questions there. And then there's also, is that even feasible?
My pushback against that would be, we're kind of asking to make a new roster around Sengun. But the things you named for Giannis are the things I'm going to have to go get for Sengun.
And I agree. But the difference there is, instead of using those assets, because like I said, it's going to be Sengun, Jabari, 5 picks, maybe even more than that. Then another trade to go get a center, and then we go out there and get spacing. I have pretty much used every first round pick.
You're kind of out of everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Versus if I don't trade for Giannis and I keep Sengun, I can then use those 5 picks.
Man, the Sengun gutter and the value.
I can take Jabari. I can flip those guys for the necessary pieces around this team.
I mean, according to Data Baller, the contract we all said was great is a negative value.
Yeah, it's now negative. I think that's why
I'm not there yet. He's not on the bad contract.
The good thing with Sengun a year ago was, he's this good and he's not on a rookie max. And it was always going to be, at least from my perspective in trade talks with teams, if it did come to that of, hey, dude, I'm giving you a all NBA caliber player on a really, really good contract.
I still think that he's may not be all NBA this season, or I still think he has that potential, but he was an all-star. You can feel like you want to feel about did he deserve it or not. He is still he's still a good basketball. He's not the player we wanted to be. So like the contract that he's on is still a very fair bargain. Like this.
I think it went from oh my God, what a bargain to
it's what he's worth.
Yeah,
and that's. But I'm gonna be honest. I think this is the problem with selling something like that is it's what he's worth to us. Yeah. I have to try and convince another.
I don't be real. I mean, $35 million for an all-star.
I was gonna say.
Can I be real though? I don't know if all 30 teams or all 29 of the other 30 teams think they can build around Alperen Sengun.
I don't think they want to.
I think that's the other thing. I don't think that they would want to.
No.
I think don't hear what I'm not saying. There are some teams out there that are saying like, give us Sengun, 100%. They think that they can take him and build a contender. I don't know if Milwaukee's one of those teams.
Can you name a single team? We say this all the time. What team would take him?
I think a couple teams. I think
in the environment
in a vacuum or
no, like what team would want Sengun
in a vacuum or just a ton of teams would.
A ton of teams would.
Ton of teams would. I mean, he's still an offensively slanted, interior assist generating center. Like he's just a valuable basketball player.
Would they trade for him? But if I
that's a different question.
Sengun on their team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Trade for him. I think then. I can't think of it.
No. If you would have asked me this a year,
I don't want to spend time going down all 30.
No, but if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have had like 10 teams off my head. I think now I'm looking saying, I don't know how many teams are going out of their way hunting an Alperen Sengun.
Pistons, no. Celtics, no. Knicks, no. Cavs, no. Toronto, maybe.
Hell no.
You don't think Toronto will?
He's not there.
He doesn't fit with them at all. That's not the way they play basketball.
Orlando?
Orlando would.
I think they maybe.
Bro,
they have 2 Senguns.
Yeah, the way Paulo for the first time the last like 15 games has actually been working, and it's because they're using him as a center. They're not going to trade for. They're not going to trade for Sengun.
Miami, no. Philly, no.
Miami, no. They have Bam.
I think
I'm trading Bam.
Oh, you're trading. If you're trading, okay. If you have to trade for them,
you can't pair them together.
I think you could. Funny enough, I think that actually works. Funny enough, I think that would be an ideal scenario for both guys. Genuinely,
I could see it work.
I think they really work.
Miami is a maybe.
With Jabari game.
Charlotte, funny enough, no, I think says no.
They say no.
It's crazy.
They
would say no.
Charlotte says no.
I think Milwaukee would do it. I think Chicago. I dare them to say
they would not do it.
Chicago
would not do
it.
No,
they just talent deficient as they are. I dare them to say
they just traded Vucevic and they're tanking. Why would they want it?
I dare them a team that is that bad.
I'd rather draft.
I'll say, mind you, they're not even the worst team in their conference.
I'd rather draft a center.
Again, if we were saying in a vacuum, Chicago, yes. Where if I was at where I'm Chicago, no, I wouldn't.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm saying, why would you trade? I would rather draft.
That's fair. Nets,
no.
Yeah, no. Wizards, no. Pacers, no.
Yeah.
Pre-Zubac, maybe.
Pre-Zubac, sure, I think they would.
Yeah, but they just got Zubac. They're not doing it.
OKC, no. San Antonio, no. Mini, no. Lakers?
No. He doesn't work with Luka at all.
Why doesn't he?
Because they're completely different. Like,
I mean, you say they're two.
Vertical spacing.
Sengun is a good play finisher. Luka needs a play finisher center.
I think he can make it work. Denver, no. Phoenix,
maybe.
I could see Phoenix
if they could trade. They don't have any assets to trade.
They got come on. I can't see them.
I could see them
wanting
doing
Sengun.
It. The Clippers, I think, are on a yes now. I think I would with no Zubac.
I don't know what they trade, but
I don't know what.
Sure,
I'm not talking about like
if they could
had
trade
the means to trade for him.
I don't see why they would.
The Warriors, if they didn't have Porzingis, I think actually would be interested in Sengun.
I don't think he fits.
I don't think he works.
Yeah, I don't think he fits Kerr basketball.
I don't think he fits Steve Kerr basketball.
Hell no,
he doesn't work like
you can't lose him. You can't use him like Drake.
Like not offensively. I'm talking about defensively. Like you would use him offensively.
No, I don't think he works offensively.
I mean, man, I hate giving Draymond Green credit. He's a phenomenal basketball player, but he is an otherworldly processor compared to Alperen Sengun. Like he processes
way better screener.
He just processes the game better than Alperen Sengun does, and he processes it faster.
Way faster.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I think it's just true.
I think he's a better processor, but I think saying a guy who's like already an elite interior passer on a team that's spacing deficient wouldn't work on a team that manufactures cuts is kind of crazy, gang. Like I'm real. How many rim assists get manufactured for Draymond? Actually, mind you, Draymond's also doing this, and he can't self-create.
He can't, but I think that just kind of shows us. I think what Draymond sacrifices in his self-creation is what allows him to be the type of 4-on-3 power play operator, screener, DHO guy that he is. I think the flaw in Alperen Sengun's game, whether folks like to admit it or not, he likes to score.
Yep.
I hate this idea that he's like a pass-first player.
He's not.
He's not a fast pass-first player. Alperen Sengun likes to score the basketball.
He's not good at it.
When you are a scoring inclined, he's not a Sabonis. When you're a scoring inclined basketball player, I have to take into account you're going to hijack my offense just because you like to score.
I'm gonna be real. He is more scoring aggressive than other centers in his archetype in regards to like an average creator, though, like across all positions. He is still heavily in the direction of pass first in relation to those guys.
His first read is always going to be
less touches than those guys, and he's putting up similar potential assists and assist volume.
We watch him. His first read is always going to be back down. His first read is always going to be drop step. His first read is always going to be push you under the rim.
I mean, that's fine, but he's still
and I'm not saying it's not supposed to be. It is supposed to be
while he's still moderately low time possession. And on a team like the Warriors, they actually kind of need that.
Yeah.
But my issue is fundamentally that he's a score first player who's not good at it. I think everything else that flows off of that, we can argue.
I think the biggest thing, I don't know, but the biggest thing, he don't fit with Steph. I don't think.
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't think there's any fit with Steph. Oh my God,
I don't agree with that.
He's a screen.
Next record.
I'm gonna be real, bro. We've gone too far in the opposite direction.
Can we talk about his screening?
We have gone way
that's a Sengun topic.
Wait, he hasn't even got to get to.
We have gotten way too far in the opposite direction.
Let's finish this list. Portland, I think says no because they're clinging now.
No, they don't.
Memphis, I think should say yes. I don't think they would because they have Edie.
They have Edie. Why would
but I think they should say yes. Dallas,
no.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know why they would.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Pelicans, they have
Derek Queen. They just spent way too much money on Derek Queen.
They hate Derek Queen. Apparently,
they spent way too much money.
Probably say no.
They have JJJ.
Walker Kessler, JJJ.
Yeah, JJJ and Walker Kessler. They're not doing it.
And then the Kings, they have Shingo.
They have Sabonis already.
Better.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. He's not better, but
he is better.
But yeah. That's where we are. But Zay, where are you at on Shingo right now?
I am. Think I am tentative on his scoring. But I think there is a very real and clear avenue for him to be a middling efficiency scorer and still be highly impactful because of some of the passing stuff. And I think that is, and for me, the reason why I'm not out is because I think you can test that theory while also building a team that is suitable for a min and read. And because of that, I am willing to give him a shot there. Because I think in the, I won't say idealized, but in principle, what you want Sengun to do for Reed, right, is he eliminates some of the isolation possessions Reed would have to take if you gave him a rim runner, because that is something that I don't think people as a whole have talked about. If you're replacing Sengun, right, that is almost 15 creation possessions a game that you are getting rid of, that you are dispersing amongst other people, right? And if you're going to go get a rim running center that's just going to block shots, get rebounds, and maybe space the floor, those guys don't have creation possessions. So if that is the case, now where I can run 10 read pick and rolls and he only got C2 ISOs because I got Sengun taking 5, I got a min taking 5, KD's taking like another 4 or 5, right? And so he never has the ISO. If you have a big that cannot create, he's going to have to ISO. And I think in this current juncture, he's not equipped to do it. And I think long term, the idea of asking a smaller guard to have that volume of creation burden in order to get shots up is just very difficult. And there's been very few who've been able to do it, period. And we've seen in the playoffs, it's a tough sell, and a lot of those guys end up dropping because, it's hard to shoot 12 threes, especially when I'm running off these pick and rolls to get them, and then I'm also just having to isolate to get them. And that is something that Sengun does do. For me, I think the direction that the team should be taking is you need to maximize number 1 and number 15. And part of doing that, I think, is maximizing number 28's ability to pass the ball, because that is one trait that he has that is an elite special trait. His interior passing is an elite special trait. That is a trait that very few players in the league are better than him at. And it is something that we should be using to our advantage to fill out lineups. I have started compiling a list, and we can get to like the offseason stuff, but I'll compile a list of as I coined 3-point rates cone crew. And anybody got some suggestions out there, please DM me, because I will be adding to the list. But I think where we should be at is you got to start adding guys to those lists, because we've talked about our overall team and how even though it looks ugly, our creation is not really bad. The one thing that is bad, gang, our spot up ability, like in terms of scoring, is terrible. And I think that's even worse when you look at the fact these are wide open shots. These are attacking closeouts against a tilted defense, and we got guys who just pour off of drives. And when you look at our overall team turnover rate, God, our role players are turning the ball over. Yeah. Like, gang, look at Tari Eason's turnover percentage. It's higher than everyone else on our team. That's high usage. And you can't have that. I cannot, if I'm putting creation burden on my star players, the last thing I can have if I'm doing that is role players who are turnover prone. I cannot have that.
So what you said, that doesn't even factor in all the possessions where Tari does something stupid, it gets blocked.
You know what I'm saying? Like, some of those are basically turnovers.
Yes, also a turnover. Yes. So. And so I think that is where I'm at. I think you give you build a more offensively spot up slanted roster in regards to role players, because that also fits with Reed and Sengun or Reed and Amin if Sengun doesn't work, or if he does work. You give Sengun next season there, and I'm gonna be real, if the efficiency doesn't get better in a better space environment, then yeah, I mean this case, because there's a threshold even. Because we've used the Celtics, and the Celtics, their two most efficient players are inefficient, but they're still a top offense because they're able to leverage their inefficiencies as creators to provide a hyper efficient environment for the role players. There is still a baseline level of efficiency that Sengun has to reach in order to maximize his ability to pass the ball.
I think that's my pushback. Is like, we say middling efficiency creator. If he was at 58 true shooting, that is a middling efficiency creator for the archetype of people we're in.
Yeah, but he's
like 54 for the second year in a row.
Are funny enough non-creation.
No, but that's part of the problem. Is he's unable to, like, if you're unable to do anything off the ball, right? And your only claim to fame and way to score the basketball is when you have the ball in your hands, and you're not elite at that. Gang, that's how you end up at 54.
I mean, I think so.
He also can't hit free throws. Like, that's just a fundamental thing that, like, no one else can. Like, you're already an uphill battle when you can't hit free throws. Like,
you think it's chalked?
Yes,
bro, it's the fifth year. I understand.
I'm gonna be, if you're admitting to that being chalk at that point,
he's kind of.
Can I be honest? Because I'm chalking his touch at that point.
Yeah.
Yes,
it'd be one thing if I looked at Alperen Sengun play basketball and said, like, he's missing bunnies, or he's missing, like, he takes for the most part touch floaters.
Yep.
Post hooks.
I mean, to be fair,
that's his shot.
He takes bad shots though. Like we have to say it. He takes bad shots.
He takes touch dependent.
I'm gonna say
shots.
He takes bad shots. The majority of them bad shots are touch. Like, to us, they're touch dependent. Post hook.
I think he makes his game harder on himself.
No, but my point is, if he has bad,
can he make it easier?
He's not athletic.
I think,
like, is he capable of making it easier?
I think that
He's not tall. He's not an over the basket finisher. He's not strong enough to just barrel through people.
So to defend him, I think this is where I will say I will kind of give him the excuse of roster context and coaching. I think him going out there for the vast majority of the season and his best pick and roll ball handler being Kevin Durant is a problem. I think that they should have been incorporating Reed Shepherd into that mix a lot more. I don't think it's a coincidence that some of his best games recently, amongst these struggles, have come from the games where he started alongside Reed Shepherd, and you saw there was an intention behind that two-man game. I think the other thing is that he is being asked to create while being double teamed quite frequently because people aren't guarding Tari. People aren't guarding Akogi. People aren't guarding Bari. So I think if we also introduce a team that has a bit better spacing around him, it'll make the defensive attention he's getting shown a little bit easier on him. And then, I think he just needs to, there needs to be just a approach difference, right? He needs to stop posting up from the 3-point line, get closer to the basket. I think things that help him get closer to the basket is, like I said, playing Reed more and having better spacing. But, like, stuff like that is why I
hit an early shield.
Yes. Like, I can't yeah, we don't throw entry passes to
I think the other thing too,
I think is
this is a team wide problem, and I think this is where I say we have a schematic and philosophical problem. Gang, we have to cut down on the amount of team wide grenades that we have, because how it's a team wide issue and it's not just all of these guys are just slow. Gang, Jabari is 20th in the league in the rate of grenades. Mind you, this is a guy who has no creation burden. He takes, I want to say, 0.8 ISOs a game, 2 pick and rolls, and like 2 post ups. So pretty much nothing, right? A guy who takes nothing in terms of creation is still getting hit with all these grenades. You look at the list of players who are at the top of the league in grenade volume. If you want to do rate, Sengun's 8th, KD's 13th, Amen's 14th. If we're talking about overall number, Sengun has the second most grenades in the entire league. There's only one person ahead of him, which is James Harden.
And
I'm gonna be real, when you look at like other Helio guys, gang, their grenade percentage is like 4 or 5% lower than him. Like K, it's like 10%. Shay is at like 10%. Maxi's at like 10%. There's some guy like Ants at like 7%. Mind you, these are the guys who have the ball in their hands more than Sengun does. They have more creation possessions than Sengun does, and they're still getting less grenades. And to me, that is systematic. That is a team problem, which is, I think that circles back to lack of pace. When that is the environment of offense you have, it is going to breed inefficiency. Obviously, there's still Sengun got to be a man. Like at the end of the day, there's elements of Sengun's game. He has to just be a man. There are also pretty low-hanging things that we could do as a team to be less inefficient. Because even though we're one of the best teams with grenades, once again, it's still a grenade. It's still a bad shot. At the end of the day, you're making sugar out of a play type that no matter how much sugar you want to make out of it, it's still going to be a lot of shit in it. That's just what it is. If the best team in the league is 0.9, gang, an average pick and roll creator is giving you 0.9. An average roll man is giving you 0.9. Funny enough, if you have Sengun's grenades and you turn those into roll man possessions, his true shooting would go about like 2%. Even though he's ass in the pick and roll as a roll man. Just because it's an inherently more efficient play type. At the end of the day, we are forcing ourselves into inefficiency in ways that we don't have to.
I agree.
And I'm going to be real.
How much of it is us and how much of it is Kevin Durant, Alperen, Sengun? Like, how much of it, because again, we watch these games. I have seen these guys go out of their way, Kevin Durant specifically, because I really do want to harp on this. Watch a Rockets games and tell me how many times he plays the leverage battle, top of the key, with a 6'5" defender. No is he getting fouled? 100%. No I watch all these games and KD's getting hugged off the ball. Yeah. They fouled a mess out of him. I get it. But he hijacks possessions, either trying to get a foul or just saying, I'm going to play the leverage battle with you for 10 seconds until Reed Shepard has to give me the ball. We don't have to do it.
That's what be killing.
But it's the thing, like, Alperen Sengun doesn't have to post up from the 3-point line.
He doesn't.
He doesn't have to do. That's something he does of his own volition.
Bro, I've watched Ime call plays. Like, we've called double drag for Reed, where Jabari's sitting an off-ball screen for Reed, and Sengun's sitting on the 3-point line, clapping his hands for the ball. And it's like, all right, well, he wants the ball there.
Gotta give him the ball.
He fucking throws a brick up there. Like, that's not on anyone. But there's too many of Sengun's issues that are, that was my big takeaway watching the PNR possessions and like the ISO possessions for Sengun and all the post ups. Like, we sat and watched every single play for him this year. And my takeaway is it's too much self-inflicted stuff that like barring something for the rest of this season. And if he's horrible in the playoffs, I think that just like completely adds to it. I can't give you the context argument. Like, you're talking about spacing. He's one-on-one a lot of times. Teams have stopped doubling him. Teams were doubling him the first like
his double team rate
games of the team. His double team rate is plummeted. They're leaving him alone. You know why? They're saying, dare me. Make me adjust to you, scoring on us over and over. And he doesn't do it.
No, but again, like
that's on him, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. The problem becomes like but this is my thing. I've seen you in a lot of different contexts now in the NBA. I've seen you not be adjusted for by your own head coach. I've seen you be adjusted for by other teams. I've seen you with a point guard. I've seen you with a bad point guard. I've seen you with no point guard. You know the one thing that's common in all of those? You can't finish as a roll man. Yep. You know what's one thing in common in all of those? You can't make post hooks. You can't make floaters. And you know what you take more than anything else? Post hooks and floaters.
Because you're 6'10" and not athletic. You're not going to jump over the rim, which is fine. That's like not who you ever were. It's not who anyone ever.
I'm not. Know who I'm asking. Nor who am I asking. Nor is it who I'm asking you to be at all. Like, just be Alperen Sengun. I've seen you play an efficient style of basketball before. You're choosing to not do it at this point.
And I think there is some fruit to the proof of concept of the Clint Capella minutes being so much more impactful than the Sengun.
Forget the Clint. Use the real name, because it's not even fucking close when you compare the two. Look at Steven Adams across the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
Why are we otherworldly better when Steve-O's on the court? Because Steve-O does basic big man stuff. Yeah. And it's the one thing with Sengun that we've danced around, and Laura's seen it episode, but we've danced around it. He don't set screens.
He don't.
He doesn't box out. We have box out statistics. Do you know who was the only person on our team that was boxing out? Steven Adams. It's the reason why we plummeted in the possession battle. We don't box out and generate second chance opportunities. We don't even generate defensive rebounds anymore. We getting killed on the O glass by teams.
Which fries because Sengun was like top 2 in the league in box out flash.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're not boxing out anymore. You're not screening. Oh, by the way, all the issues you had last year, they got worse. Yep. You're a worse rim finisher somehow. You're a worse play finisher somehow. You're a worse post hook. I promise you, I've been trying to go filter for guys who take at least one post hook a game. There is one player worse than him. It's the one game Jaren Jackson Jr. played with the Jazz. That's it. The one game he played. He's the worst post hook player in basketball. He's one of the worst post hook players in basketball this year. He's just been bad. And I can't point at Ime. I can't point at KD. I can't point at a man and say, fix him making layups. Make a layup.
Yeah. Yep. There's no way around it.
And for all the I wish we could zoom into these jerseys in the back. I'm a fan of this dude. I went to All-Star Weekend to watch him play.
Those are my jerseys.
That's it. Like, I had to go to the fan experience to make sure he got the authentic Sengun jersey. This is real pain in my voice.
I don't think mine even.
I was gonna say, to circle back to the grenade stuff. I think how you know that it is, more schematic than just individual is the guys who do not have creation burden are also high on this list, right? Like I pulled it up for Tari, 13% of his shots are grenades. Mind you, this guy has one creation possession a game, right? One creation shot a game. When you look at Jabari's, it's fucking 10%, and it's the same thing, right? And then even because that's the other thing too, and this is also how I know that it is also systematic. When you compare these guys to what they were in 2024, the rate is almost half. That is also the same for Sengun, right? It's 15% this year. Gang, it was 9% in 2024. 9%.
Can I ask? How many were Jalen taking?
Oh, let me go look.
Because I'm gonna be real, lad. I think
Jalen at.
Let me go peek because Jalen low key might have been.
He
might have been grenade suppressing the whole time. Hold on, let me find out. 9%.
Oh,
9%.
Fairs.
Dang.
Did you want to get to before we close? Did you want to get to that list that you made?
The non. You know what? Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Well, we got to rapid fire this.
We got to rapid fire quick.
So I'm gonna say all these names. If y'all got any names,
yes
man,
or no? We'll just
DM
say yes
me.
or no.
All right. So
say yes to all of them,
AJ Green.
Yes.
Please.
Quentin Grimes.
Yes.
Aaron Nesmith.
Yes. Yes. I'd take Aaron Nesmith on this team. You would not take Aaron Nesmith?
No. Keep going.
Yes.
I put Max Strus, but buy low in quotation marks. I think I'm probably gonna take him off the list. Nikhil Alexander Walker.
I would take yeah.
Julian Champagny.
Yeah, for sure.
Gary Trent.
Yes.
Quentin Post.
No.
Yes, backup bigs are hard to find.
Grant Williams.
No.
Ew.
It's something about Grant Williams, man.
I put a question mark on it. So
just something about Grant Williams, man.
Nothing to do with basketball.
Sam Hauser.
Sure. Yes.
Deuce McBride.
No, Ime would never play him. He would never touch the court.
I think Ime would love Deuce McBride. I would love Deuce McBride.
Have you seen how he plays Aaron Holiday?
I'm like to say, Deuce guards.
No, that's fair.
Deuce like a real guard.
Okay,
Grayson Allen.
Yes, please.
Jalen Wells.
Yes. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Trey Murphy.
I don't know.
Yes. Double
Keon Ellis.
Who?
Yes. Yeah, I'll take Keon.
Yeah, I'll take Keon. I'll take him as a
Ryan Rollins. Matter of fact, let me put Ryan Rollins.
Ryan Rollins.
Ryan Rollins. Put him at the top of the list.
1,000% yes.
All caps. Hold on, let me put my young nigga in all caps.
Yeah.
That's real.
Anthony Melton.
Yeah.
Wouldn't love
Actually,
it.
I'd take him.
I'd be fine with it.
Kaishan George. I put an eyes emoji behind this because I need a large.
If it was possible to get him, maybe.
I feel like we could. Think it's possible.
And then the last name I have on here is Max Christie.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love Max Christie.
Sure.
Would love him. He fits in a lot of stuff.
I need two of these guys, man. Like
I need more than
two.
Yeah, I need like 4 of them.
Yeah,
I mean, we already got one of them on the team. We got Reed. So
I need more than that.
I need. You know what's better than one Reed? 5.
5 Reed.
5 Reeds would be crazy, bro.
All right. But that has been this week's episode of the Right Read Podcast. Thank you all for stopping by once again. As always, new episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Everybody's links will be down below in the description. Turn on that notification bell to stay up to date with everything Right Read Podcast. We will catch y'all on the flip side.